Assalamualaikum to all beloved listeners. Good morning. I'm Najwa and you're now listening to IIUM FM, your campus radio. And Alhamdulillah, we're now in our midday box segment from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And today, we are on our 5th episode of Financial Fit Stop, where we'll explore more about gold as one of our investment instrument. And before we jump into our discussion, let me introduce our inspiring guests for today's session. With us, we have Datuk Prof. Dr. Mohamad Akram Laldin, the chairman of the Malaysia Gold Association Shariah Advisory Board. And he also serves as a professor of Islamic Finance at the International Centre for Education in Islamic Finance, or INSEAF University, with PhD in Principles of Islamic Jurisprudence, Usul Fiqh, from the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, UK. Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much for the time with us today at IIUM.
It's a pleasure for me to be here.
And today, our episode, we will be focusing on gold investments, the vaccine against inflation, where we will explore what makes gold a safe haven asset and how it serves as a protection against rising prices, especially in the long term. And also, we will also touch on what defines Shariah-compliant gold investments, how Malaysians, especially students and young professionals, can start with even a small amount, and the key risks and also challenges to be aware of in today's volatile market, gold market especially. So, Prof, let us begin with the foundation of today's topic.
Okay.
Gold is often referred to as a safe haven asset. In simple terms, what does that mean for the public?
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank IIUM FM for inviting me, and thank you, Najwa, for having me here. Yes, I mean, gold is a very, I would say, a very important topic, especially nowadays. I think a couple of weeks back, the gold price shoot very high.
Yes.
So those who have invested in gold, I mean, they were very happy. But then gradually you can see that the price went down. But even though it went down, it does not go back to the original price. But I mean, the price is quite stable now. When we talk about gold as a safe haven, you see. The difference between gold and other investment is that when we invest in gold, right, we are buying a certain commodity.
Yes.
Meaning that we are buying a precious commodity. As we know that gold is a metal, a type of metal, and it is a precious metal, right? We have gold, we have silver, but of course, I mean, gold is more, I would say, in terms of value, it is much more compared to many other type of metals. You see, so meaning that when you are buying gold, when you're buying gold, you are buying metal or something which has its own intrinsic value. When I mentioned about intrinsic value, meaning that the gold itself has its own value.
Yes.
Okay. So nowadays, let's say 1 gram of gold is about 500 something ringgit, or it might goes up to 600. It might come down to almost 450, 500, blah, blah, blah. I mean, depending on the market. But at least, you see, the gold itself has its own value. So when you keep, let's say you have 1 gram gold or 5 gram gold, 10 gram, you see, at least that gold that you have will always have its value. The value might fluctuate. And if you look into the value of gold, maybe for the past few years, 3-4 years, we can see that there is a steady rise in the value of gold. So meaning that it is a value which is quite stable compared to many other commodities. You see, other commodities, of course, I mean, yes, I mean, it might goes up, it might goes down. And the difference is that when you invest in a share, for example, it depends on the performance of the company, you see, the value of the company, asset of the company and whatnot. It might goes down up to the level that it might wipe out your principal amount. You have nothing to hold on.
Yes.
Or even loss. You see. But when you talk about gold, at least you have something. to hold on. And it has its own value. I think that is the special feature
about
of gold. You see, in which it has its own intrinsic value, which people can hold to it.
And because of that very feature, many also view gold as a form of protection, or we could say as like a vaccine against the inflation, a way to preserve the purchasing power when the cost of living rises. So what does this tell about what does this tell us about the role of gold today?
Actually, if you look into the history, right, in the past, of course, nowadays in some of the, especially in the Middle Eastern country, they have their currency denomination, they call it dinar and also dirham. Okay. Now, if you look into the history in the past, dinar is the reflection of gold coin. Okay, gold coin, in which in the past people used to trade through barter trading. You see, I have certain commodity, I have flour, I need salt, or I need wheat. Okay, or I need rice, for example. We will exchange, you see, depending on the value in the market. And one of the medium of exchange in the past is also people used to exchange with dirham and also dinar. Dirham is a silver coin and dinar is a gold coin. Now, when we look into the value of dirham and also dinar, which is being minted in the past, you see, even during the Ottoman, even before that, I mean, they mint. You see the coin. The coin itself has its own value. It is not like the fiat money that we have nowadays. You see, the fiat money that we have nowadays, the value of it is guaranteed by the government. You see, the government. You see, and it is supposed to reflect the value of commodities, services that is available in the economy as a whole. But that is not the case nowadays, because governments are free to print money, so inflation goes up and whatnot. You see, so all that has its own effect. But when you talk about gold, because gold has its own intrinsic value, it has its own value. So the value is the one that you use to exchange with other commodity with similar value. You see, that's why even the Prophet ﷺ, when the Prophet categorized 6 items as the ribawi item, you have gold, you have silver, you have wheat, you have salt, you have dates, you see, and also barley. I mean, these are the 6 commodity, simply because those days, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, these are the dominant commodity that people use for exchange. You see, between one another, and all this commodity has its own intrinsic value. So that will, of course, you see, I mean, the prices might go up and down depending on supply and demand. You see, but the fluctuation can be controlled because, you see, it has its own intrinsic value, unlike, you see, the situation in which that we are in now. You see that sometimes the volatility is very, very, high because we are dealing with fiat money and there is no, it has no its own intrinsic value. So that means that it is more stable, of course, you see, when we are dealing with gold. But of course, I mean, there are certain constraint, there are certain things that we need to look into it when it comes to implementation of it, which has its own peculiarities.
I see. Okay, so that's really interesting thing that we need to understand back about the role of gold, and how do we also deal with the risk of investing in gold. And talking about risk, we will discuss more about risk later after this short break. So stay tuned with IIUM FM, your campus radio. Welcome back to your campus radio at IIUM FM. I'm Najwa, and we still have Prof. Akram with us for Financial Fit Stop episode 5. And earlier, Prof has talked with us about the role of gold, about why we see it as a safe haven asset, which is because of the intrinsic value. And now, Prof, we hear a lot about the Shariah-compliant gold accounts.
Yes.
So in the simplest term, what are the key differences that make a gold investment actually halal than the conventional ones?
All right. Now, when we talk about the Islamic product when it comes to gold, you see, of course, it has its own requirements. As I mentioned earlier on, that gold is a ribawi item. So there are certain conditions when it comes to trading with gold. You see, when we buy and sell gold, there are certain conditions as well as requirement from the Sharia point of view for us to fulfill in order for us to purchase or to buy gold. Basically, when we talk about investment in gold from the Sharia point of view, it is that you are buying gold, right? You are buying. You are not just putting your money and looking at what is the value of gold on that day and tag your investment amount to the value of gold. So this is the key difference between an Islamic investment, gold investment, and also conventional. In the conventional space, you see, when they have gold product or gold investment product, they do not hold physical gold. Okay, so what? Let's say if I put 1,000 ringgit, for example, as in my gold account, from the conventional point of view, I mean, so for simple of calculation, let's say if 1 gram of gold is 500 ringgit, you see, I put 1,000 ringgit, I deposit 1,000 ringgit into my gold investment account. So it will be stated there that I have an equivalent of 2 gram of gold, because 1 gram of gold is 500 ringgit. Okay, so when I put 1,000, I have 2 gram of gold. But there is no physical gold. In conventional, there is no physical gold, meaning that you cannot claim the physical gold. So what you can claim is that the money in your account, which is tagged against the existing value of gold. Let's say if after 2 weeks, gold price goes up 510, for example, so you have 2 gram. So meaning that your investment value from 1,000 will increase to 1,040 because one gram is 520 now instead of 500. So that is the conventional. But then when you talk about Islamic, you see, gold account, when you buy, when you put your money, meaning that you are buying the gold. So the Sharia requirement is that if I am buying 2 gram of gold, I must have the 2 physical gram of gold which will be stored on my behalf by the institution. That's why if you go to an Islamic institution, you invest in gold, you put your money, you have the right to have the physical gold. So you can
claim.
Yeah. Sorry. You can claim the physical gold, but usually you can choose either you want to keep it or the institution will keep it on your behalf. So this basically is the main difference.
But how do we then make sure, or how do we confirm that the real gold really exists?
Okay. If you are dealing with a regulated institution, take for example banks, because nowadays banks do have gold account, Islamic gold account, for example. There are quite a number of banks they do have Islamic gold account. So when they submit to Bank Negara to have this gold account, then they will be submitting their product paper, you see, and the Sharia requirement they have to fulfill in order to make their product legitimate, you see, they have to get the approval of the Sharia Advisory Council of Bank Negara Malaysia, you see, and the requirement is that they must have the physical gold, right? So from time to time, when let's say the regulator go and supervise and also do conduct audit, then they will make sure that okay, you have they will go through some of the transaction. Okay, you have this transaction that says that this client buy for example, 4 gram of gold. So show us where is the gold. So they have to go to the wall usually, and they will show, okay, this is the tagging number, you see. They have the gold, usually gold, it is being tagged. You see, nowadays, they have in the form of card and whatnot. You see, different form. And if it is a bullion, then there is a number on the bullion says that okay, this piece, let's say it is 1 kilo or whatever. You see, this is the tag number, and it has to commensurate with what is recorded in the account of the client. Okay, so that is, if it is regulated. The worrying thing now is that there are many non-regulated entity. They also have the they claim that they have this Islamic gold account, you see. So we have to be very careful. Any one who claim that they have the Islamic product, the first question that you have to ask is that, can I claim my 1 gram, 2 gram, whatever gram of gold or not? Can I take and keep it with me? Instead of you keeping it, I want to keep it. If they say can, then you need to ask them to prove. Okay, because sometimes people say, oh yes, you can you can claim, and we have the gold and whatnot, you see, but in actual fact they don't have the gold. This has happened. In fact, I personally have a real experience, you see, when people claim that they have physical gold, but when we conduct audit, they don't have the physical, they cannot produce. You see, they just tag the client's account with certain tagging number, but when we ask them to produce, okay, where is it? I want to see it. You have to open your wallet and show me. You see that this gold exists. They couldn't produce it. So that will render the entire thing as non-compliant, non-Sharia compliant. So there is also a risk of Sharia non-compliant there. You see, apart from, of course, you are risking your money. When you put there, they just disappear with your money. You don't have gold, you don't have anything. You see, that's why if you're talking about gold investment, if you have the capability to keep the gold yourself, go ahead, do it. You see, but some people, of course, they are scared to keep gold. They are worried that it might lose and whatnot. They don't have good storage capability to keep, so they will entrust the institution to keep it for them. But then you have to make sure that the goal exists. Otherwise, it will just become like any other conventional investment product, you see, which does not have the physical goal.
So we would be easily scammed if we do not ask that important question.
Yes, right? Exactly.
So for a Malaysian who has perhaps only, for example, 50 ringgit to spare, what are the most accessible Sharia compliant ways to help them start buying or investing in gold today?
I would say that perhaps the best thing is that for you to open a gold account, Islamic gold account, you see, or Sharia compliant gold account with financial institutions. If you don't have much money, okay, then I believe that is the only avenue, because usually they have the capability to compartmentalize the gold. So if you have small money also, you will be able to top up, okay, because you will be but then in some situation, I believe that they might have the minimum amount that you can invest. So you need to have the minimum amount in order for you to be eligible to invest in Sharia in gold Sharia compliant products.
And if let's say they want to reconfirm or they want to check the Shariah compliancy of the financial institution, where can they get the information?
Of course, I mean, generally speaking, when we talk about Sharia compliant product, all the product must have Sharia endorsement.
Okay.
If it is institution which is regulated by, let's say, Bank Negara or Securities Commission, then those institutions will have their own Sharia advisor. Okay, I mean, you have all the liberty to go and ask the bank, okay, you claim that your product is Sharia compliant, so what is the proof? Do you have the Sharia endorsement by the Sharia advisor? You see, if it is any other institution that claim such thing, then they need to produce, you see, the Sharia certification by their Sharia advisor.
Brothers and sisters, we will still have Prof. Akram after this short break to discuss more about the gold investments. Stay tuned with us at IIUM FM, your campus radio. Thank you for coming back to IMFM, and this is Financial Fit Stop episode 5. We still have Prof. Akram with us to talk about the gold investment, the vaccine against inflation. And before this, we have talked about the role of gold with its intrinsic value and what are some of the most accessible and Sharia compliant ways for younger professionals or even students like us. For example, like maybe we have 50 ringgit to spare, so what are the most suitable ways for us to invest or start buying gold? So now, Prof, gold prices can go up and also it can also go down since it doesn't give a regular profit, like for example fixed deposit. What is the biggest risk and everyday investor needs to be aware of, and how should they manage their expectations when they start to invest in gold?
Okay, of course. I mean, the price of gold is nowadays when you talk about the global economy, right? I mean, of course, I mean, gold is one of the commodity which big investors also will invest. So they will see, I mean, if investment in other segment like the equities and whatnot does not really give them good return, then, or if the market is very volatile sometimes, so they will go to the safe haven, you see, and gold is one of the safe haven. And if the demand is huge, then of course, I mean, that will bring the price up. But then if you see the market become less is less volatile, then people might exit from gold and they might invest in some other investment portfolios. Now definitely, I mean, that will affect the gold price up and down. So the risk of price in gold do exist, okay, but then it is not like you are investing in shares or whatnot, in which your investment might be wiped out. So you have to balance between what is the objective of your investment. If you have money that you want to put for a long term, okay, then gold can be one of the option. Okay, that's why I always remind people that don't put all your investment in one basket. Some people just like recently, you see, when they see, oh, gold price is going up, they will pull all their investment from other places and dump it into gold. Oh, gold is going up, so I want to buy gold. So when the price goes up, they are happy, you see, but then they did not have the ability sometimes to lock the profit that they make, because they will be just investing in it. They will be buying, let's say, whatever gram of gold, you see, and the price keep going up, and then there is no mechanism to lock the profit. Just unlike if you are investing in some other
or trading
investment, you can lock the profit, exit, and then buy back. And so in gold, unless if you sell, you know that. But then the issue with gold is sometimes people are happy that, oh, it's going up, okay, maybe tomorrow it go up again, go. So people does not know where to stop, you see, because it is quite a stable commodity. So that's why I mean, you need to, you see, be clever enough, you see, in order for you to be able to lock your profit, meaning that you need to sell some of the gold that you have in order to realize the profit, and then wait. It is again depending on the market, you see, depending on your luck. If the price goes down again, then you can buy again, so that you will have some profit out of the investment. So this is it is not like, you see, other investment where you have government guaranteed, for example, like for example, if you are investing, if you put your money in tabung haji, if you put your money in a PNB, for example, ASB, SN and whatnot, I mean, these are government guaranteed. You know that your principal amount is not going to diminish, you see, but every year usually they will give you dividend, including EPF, of course. I mean, EPF is also a good place, and now EPF have EPF Islamic, you see. So I mean, all these avenues, usually people will take care of the investment side of it, you see, and you just wait and you will get dividend. That's why don't put all your investment in one basket in order for you to manage the risk, you see. You can put some which you think you are not going to use this money, let's say, for the next 5 years, for example. You see, okay, I'll buy 5 gram, 10 gram of gold. Let's say if I have about 5,000 ringgit, if the price is about 500 ringgit per gram, okay, I buy 5 gram, you see, and I can keep it, you see, until the price really appreciate, and then I can sell it, I can get my gain. But if you're looking at, you know, short term kind of profit, yearly or what, then gold is not the suitable. But it is safe, you see, because as I mentioned earlier on, the intrinsic value is there. But then in terms of getting the profit, it has to be a long-term kind of strategy when you are investing in gold, not a short-term strategy.
It's like once you put money in gold, then you have to forget about it.
Yeah, so more or less, you see. And, you know, it will play its own role when the price of gold goes up. And usually, I mean, it will go up, even though if it goes down, it is not going to go down that much, you see. So it's quite stable. I mean, if you look into the track record, it is upward trend, you see, and it's quite stable.
Yeah, I agree on that. And recently we see that gold prices have been hitting new highs and also showing a sharp swings. So what should consumers understand about this volatility? How does it affect their household decisions and also the wider economy?
Yeah, you see, people have to understand that, yes, I mean, gold is a precious commodity, has its own value, but it is not free from price volatility. Okay, and the price volatility is always there, just like when they are investing in any other investment. You see, there is up of it, there is down of it, you see. So they have to understand that, you see, and they have to manage their investment accordingly. That's why it is very important. If you have the time, okay, you have the capability, you can always monitor the price of gold, then fair enough. I mean, you can go in and go out, you see, because you study the trend. But most of us, we don't have the time. We don't have the, you see, capability of doing that, of monitoring, because usually we have some other things to do, you see. So you have to understand that, you see, that is the kind of risk. And again, as I mentioned earlier on, don't put everything in gold, but put something in gold as well as try to invest. Because in our situation in Malaysia, alhamdulillah, we have so many other Shariah-compliant options as well. You see, I mentioned about tabung haji, I mentioned about ASB, ASN. I mean, all these are Shariah-compliant. I mentioned about EPF. You see, now even students, they can open EPF account. And we have EPF Islamic, you see. So go ahead. Don't wait until you work, then only you want to have an EPF account. You see, you can open now every month, because EPF is basically for you to save in the future. You see, after retirement, and nowadays there are different type of account in EPF, so that will help you to manage your finance in a long term. You see, apart from that, put some in gold, you see, so that will be for long term and it will be very good for your future, inshallah.
So that's it on discussion about the biggest risk that an everyday investor needs to be aware of when we start to invest in gold. And coming up next, we will then discuss about the role of the regulations. So come back with IMFM, your campus radio.
1, 2, 3.
It's Najwa Nordin and you are tuning in to Financial Fit Stop at your campus radio, IIUM FM. And we still have one final question for Prof. Akram before we let you go.
Yeah.
Prof, looking ahead, what would you like to see from the regulators or industry, for example, like Bank Negara Malaysia or any banks and even fund managers to make Shariah-compliant gold more simpler and safer for the public?
Okay, we have to understand that gold as a commodity, it is not regulated. Okay, meaning that people are at liberty to buy, to sell gold. You see, it is not regulated. And those shops, jewelry shop and whatnot, I mean, they are registered as a company with SSM, Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia. And I mean, of course, I mean, they have to abide by, you see, the usual governance process and whatnot. But gold, because it is a commodity, it is being traded just like any other commodity. You see, there is no restriction and whatnot in the trading. People want to buy, they can buy. People want to sell, they can sell. But then, for the Shariah-compliant products, you see, I really hope that we will come up with a more stringent kind of regulation to ensure that whenever any company claim that their product is Shariah-compliant, they have the Shariah certification. Not only Shariah certification, they have the Shariah audit, which must be conducted yearly, you see, and they must be overseen by the relevant regulators. Of course, as I mentioned, if you are talking about Bank Negara jurisdiction is only to financial institutions which are registered with Bank Negara, and Alhamdulillah, Bank Negara is doing a wonderful job, you see, where if you have whatever product you have, gold product or any product, they will ensure that, you see, when they conduct their investigation, they conduct their audit, they will ensure that it is in compliance. But what worry me is that those people outside there who are not regulated, you see, so we need to do something with it, because nowadays there are so many schemes and there are so many scams, you see. And I mean, the poor public, I mean, sometimes they have their, you see, money they have saved for years, and it they are hoping that to use it when they retire, and suddenly they are caught in this kind of scam. You see, people say that, okay, you put your money, there is gold, but at the end of the day, there is no. And there are some scandals that has happened in the past. I do not want to mention, you see, but people's money have lost. You see, so we hope that the government will step in, you see, and put certain rules, regulation when it comes to the gold investment in order for to protect the public, especially because public, they don't have knowledge on what are the risks, you see, because sometimes they will just hear, and you know, nowadays we have so many salesperson that you see will, you know, promise you 1001 promises but I mean, all these, I mean, they are just trying to get people money. Once they get the money, then it's gone, you see. So we hope that we will create awareness among the people, go to the regulated entities, the entities that is regulated for them to invest their money safely. Don't just simply, you know, believe anyone who promise particularly, you know, wonderful return, but at the end of the day you don't get anything. So that is my real hope. Okay,
and that marks the end of our episode 5 Financial Fit Stop today, and much appreciation from us to Prof for coming with us and having the time with us at IMFM. We will stay tuned to the next segment, Get Grooving with DJ Janani. Until next time, I'm Najwa Nordin, only on IMFM, your campus radio.